We are live.
Good morning to you. Happy Monday. Happy
Monday.
King Day to you.
Absolutely.
What else day is today? I can't believe she didn't turn up volume.
That's the day. Today is Martin Luther King's birthday.
Yes, it is. I'm glad we're celebrating on today. Today is King Day, a national holiday. Do you remember when you were in school, when the debate was going on whether or not we should make Martin Luther King Day a national holiday?
Was that like third or fourth grade?
No. You had to be a teenager, a late teenager. Yeah. It's not been that long ago.
Wow.
And then when they started to ratify it in different states, and remember the last state to ratify Martin Luther King Day was Arizona.
Well, yeah, of course.
And no, maybe it was younger. Maybe you were early teens because Reagan was the president at the time. And he was making statements like, I don't know if we want to do this because it'll open up for more holidays, more other days, besides
another day,
more days besides just Martin Luther King,
And then people would be like, so what about a day for Malcolm? Or what about a day for this person and a day for that?
Which was just really a stupid argument. Okay, that's the dumbest argument ever. We already got Washington Day. Why we need a Lincoln Day? Why we need this? Or we just make one President's Day.
Well, that's what they ended up doing.
Yes. But that's the dumb argument. Anyway. Good morning, Corinda. How you doing, sir?
Good morning, Lanita. Thank you.
Our weekend was actually great, man. We had a good time together this weekend. We spent a lot of together time.
The empowerment, the global domination mindset.
Yes. On Saturday. Oh my gosh. Saturday at 4 p.m. Lisa and I, we put on an event called Global Domination Mindset 2021. Global Domination Mindset 2021. 7 amazing thought leaders gave their word. And boy, did they bring it.
Absolutely.
Each and every one of them.
It was phenomenal. For those who registered, your special gifts will be going out over the next couple of days. I'm spent from that though. Ooh, it was a lot.
It was so amazing because did we not watch the Miami on Saturday night? Or we watched it on Sunday night?
Last night was Sunday night, right?
We watched it on Saturday night.
So we didn't watch it last night? We watched it in the morning. Sunday morning. Yeah, that's
when we woke up. So because we were full by the time that event was done, you couldn't take anything else in,
Saturday night was overwhelming. Woo! It really was. It was wonderful, but it was overwhelming.
And we woke up to a movie on Prime called One Night in Miami. And I recommend everyone watch it. It was a story of the night that Muhammad Ali won the heavyweight championship. His name was still Cassius Clay at the time. Mm-hmm. It was the night he upset Sonny Liston and won the championship. And he spent it with 3 of his friends. And his friends included Malcolm X, Jim Brown, and what's the singer? Oh man,
the name just escaped me.
It's on top of my head.
The one down by the river.
Yes. No. I was born by a river in a little tent. Oh dang.
In a little tent.
Just leave me alone for a second.
Sam
Cooke, right? So he spent the night with Sam Cooke, Jim Brown, and Malcolm X. Now at the time, Malcolm X was silenced by the Nation of Islam, but he had been
transitioning out.
Yes, and he was banned from speaking for a year because the year before, November the year before, President Kennedy had gotten assassinated, and someone stuck a camera in Malcolm X's face, and he made he made the famous line. He goes, it was because the whole nation was upset. He was beloved. My grandfather said Kennedy was the best person he ever saw.
Yeah.
Right. He made the statement about, I was born up with a farm boy, and what I see here is chickens coming home to roost.
Yeah.
And chickens coming home to roost never made me sad when I was a kid.
Right. And they tried to correlate that with you get what you deserve.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what that point means. When you send them out, when you do stuff gonna come back at you.
Yeah.
But when Malcolm made a statement like that, he was basically speaking as he was the number one leader for the Nation of Islam. He's speaking on their behalf. So they silenced him for a year.
Yeah, because they hadn't approved that message.
Right. And when in the time period that they silenced him, he discovered, things about his mentor and hero that he wasn't pleased with.
He did discover that. He discovered some things about the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and some of the things that he was doing in the community with the young women.
Yep, and getting them pregnant.
That he was doing. He was getting them pregnant. He was not necessarily taking care of them, because understand that in the Nation of Islam, you could have multiple wives. So it wasn't the fact that he was having multiple wives.
They weren't his wives.
They were more his concubines, and he was just,
they were shunning them. So when the women got pregnant, they were like kicked out, shunned. So Malcolm wasn't pleased with that. So he was in that quandary. He wanted to leave the nation, and he knew his life was in danger. He was getting death threats at his home and his children. So his life was in danger. So he was in that mode where everything could set him off.
Right.
Okay. And then Jim Brown was his it was his 9th year in the NFL. He had set all the records, and he had been named the athlete of the century. All of that. He was the number 1 sports figure in the world besides Muhammad Ali at the time. And he had Jim Brown, and he did a movie over in Italy that summer.
A Western,
but he got paid like 2 or 3 of his NFL seasons worth of money.
$39,000.
Yes, but back then
that was a lot of money.
Yeah, he was getting paid in the NFL probably 12 to 15.
Yeah.
Okay, so he got all of that over a couple of months worth of work.
Absolutely, and he didn't have to take no hits for it either. Like, wait a minute.
Whoa. Whoa. The pay is much better there, and no one's hitting.
And nobody's hitting me. Good morning, Miss Vivian. Good morning, Miss Phyllis.
So he was contemplating, leaving the NFL. That was enough. Sam Cooke, was the most beloved rock and roll singer at the time.
Well, actually, and not only that, he was leading the way for the business end of music. He was doing things that particularly African-American musicians didn't have an inkling about. He owned his own masters. He actually was coordinating selling songs
to the Rolling Stones and the Beatles.
Absolutely, which meant that he was creating opportunities for royalties and other monies to come in as a result of the creativity of his artists and his label.
But at the same time, he also had to deal with
black
insults.
You're still black, though.
Yeah, insults from other black people, like Malcolm X.
Like Malcolm was really cutting him down, thinking, you're a sellout. You can't even walk in the front door of these places, and you're still doing this and doing that.
And you're celebrating, singing at the Copacabana.
And you're tap dancing for the man. And here's part of the thought that many of us miss is you don't know what my role is in this revolution. You don't know what my role is in this revolution. And that's actually something that I've often had to be up against, because some people have felt, oh, you're so articulate. You need to be speaking out for civil rights. I'm doing my part for civil rights. This is my lane.
And that brings me to mind, I'm Stepin Fetchit. Okay. A lot of you guys have heard of Stepin Fetchit. Maybe you've never seen him in movies or TV shows or anything. But at the time, he played the prototypical shiftless, lazy black man, okay? Says the yes, sir, no, sir, and shuffling along, okay? Well, Stepin Fetchit was making $1 million.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they were opening the door. They were paving the way. Even Hattie McDaniels had a very, very difficult time with
people talking about her always playing a maid.
You always a mammy? How long are you gonna be a mammy? We're tired of being a mammy. Well, listen, the rest of y'all wouldn't be able to get on the screen if I hadn't been 4 or 5 mammies.
I could play a mammy, make $100,000, or I could be a mammy and make $1.
Right. And so I really feel like what this conversation has become about is what impact are you making? What impact are you making with your voice? Whatever it is, don't allow anybody to define what that is.
It's Vivian Reed. We're blackity black. Oh, I'm black, y'all. And I'm black, y'all. And I'm blackity black, and I'm black, y'all. If y'all don't know that, you need to watch the movie Fear of a Black Hat. No. Is that Fear of a Black Hat? Oh, no, that's CB4. CB4. Oh, I'm black, y'all.
So I guess what we've turned around into this conversation was about Martin Luther King Day, but we're grateful for his sacrifice and everything that he did for the civil rights movement. But I think it has become more about the individuals, each individual piece of the revolution. And that includes you and I. And it doesn't have to look like anybody else. You don't have to be Malcolm. You don't have to be Martin. You don't have to be Sam. You don't have to be Muhammad. You don't have to be anyone. You have to be you. You were fearfully and wonderfully made. And God sent you with a purpose. Good morning, Brittany. Good morning.
One time I gave an anointed talk where I went off script. It was at a Black History program at my church, Baptist Grove Church in Raleigh. And I was reading off the history, famous history of Black people to the church. And I'm reading it off and I'm doing a dramatic reading of it. And this man did this and this woman did that and all that kind of stuff. And then it just hit me. I don't know what hit me, and what is real Black history? Black history is you and what you're doing today. You're creating Black history every day. And it just came through me. God used me in that moment and it just set the whole church on fire. You know?
And I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful that we have the opportunity to make history in and of our everyday activities. We're able to use our voice unencumbered by censorship,
unencumbered by chains of the past. We can move forward. You know, and not all of us are unencumbered. But think about this. Somebody in your family is going to hear the story about you. Somebody coming up is going to hear the story about Miss Vivian Reed.
And what's that going to look like?
Mm-hmm.
What's that going to sound like? What are they going to say about you? That's one of the things that excites me so much about sharing these stories of overcoming, whether the person is African American or a female or any other overlooked individual in society. For whatever reason, something that you went through in your life that people tried to silence you or stop you. Using your voice is what doesn't just free you, it frees others.
I love the whole thought about using your voice. You know, using your, Lisa has a sign, at least you used to, use your outside voice.
Yeah.
Okay. Use your outside voice. Now, I joke with my wife sometimes. Tell her you better use your inside voice. And instead of using your outside voice, keep on using your outside voice. It's going to be outside instead of inside. You know?
Good morning, Brother Nick.
That's how it goes, man. When she say something crazy, I say, Lisa, how you doing, baby? I'm always sweet and talking with her, kind and gentle.
That's the way he's always talking.
Always, every single time.
It's always this hushed tone.
Yes, baby. Would you mind? Who the hell are you talking to? No, when she gets to that mode right there. She doesn't do that. But anyway, this is Monday. We wanted to, Monday is the first day of your calendar work week, but today is also King Day, national holiday, and we'd be remiss if we didn't take a time to reflect on what does that mean? What does King Day mean?
What does it mean? What does it mean to you? Whether it's Martin Luther King or his lovely wife, Coretta Scott King.
Super strong woman. You know, you can't be a punk woman and have a husband who's a national leader, you know?
No.
You can't be a punk woman if your husband is in the public at all.
Right.
You know, because you're going to take arrows.
Absolutely.
You're going to take arrows, man. People going to shoot at you being the wife of somebody famous.
Yes. Vivian said our voice is a bell also.
Oprah had a line that says, unless you can handle being talked about, you're not ready for success.
Absolutely.
What? And she would know. She would know. Because she was talked about a lot. Talked about everything. She talked about her body and the way she talked, her history, her past. Ugh. And it never ended either. Now she has a modicum of that's behind me, you know, because she's a billionaire. But even when she was successful, she was taking arrows.
Yeah, she was. Actually, even in the early part of her, I want to say, second act of success, or it might have been considered the third, because I think the second act is when she took her own show to herself, and then the third act was when she took her own network. And in the midst of the OWN network, transcending, it took a dip. It took a big dip.
She's taking a couple of big dips I could think of.
It took a big, not just a big dip, took like all the way dip. And from what I understand from reading some stories, she also took some psychological hits. And she had to regroup. She had to get the right people around her because she was doing something that was unheard of. And it wouldn't have been big enough if it had gone smoothly.
Right.
Oh! Right. Somebody need to hear that.
Right. If it had gone completely smooth,
it wouldn't have been big enough.
It goes completely smooth anyway. I remember all the insults Oprah had to bear when she started her magazine, old magazine. Now, what she
gonna be on every cover?
Yeah, but what she had been hearing for years before, all these different magazines were saying that their most popular issues are when Oprah's on the cover.
That's right.
Okay. She's on 100 different magazines, and all of them, their most popular issue is when she's on the cover. What is that? What is that? Is that a clue? Is that a clue?
Right. So then she launched O Magazine, and she decided, I think it was almost 5 years before there was anybody else on the cover with her.
Right, which was the basic tenet when they started, was every issue she was going to be on the cover.
That's right. And then there was a controversial moment also because the first cover that she gave to someone else.
I don't remember that.
It was Ellen DeGeneres.
But I noticed she started putting people in little boxes on the cover.
Yeah, but the first cover she gave away was Ellen DeGeneres. That was another. Yeah, but that was another very big move.
They're both in the Chicago area. They're friends. I don't undermine that one, but
I didn't mind it. Yeah. I didn't mind it, but Ellen was a white gay female.
Yes.
So that was, that was a big challenge at that time. That was a big challenge. But nevertheless, I think Martin Luther King Day is a day to observe what can I do bigger? What can I do greater? And not just for me, for the greater good.
For the greater good, for those that are looking at you, those that need you to win. There's somebody that needs you to be successful.
Absolutely.
Because it'll help them. Somebody needs to see you get up off the ground. There might be one of you guys listening right now where you're down. You're down. And stuff ain't working out right. Okay? And someone knows that you're in that mode. And they need to watch you pull yourself up out of the hole. Absolutely. Or get up out that hole. Deacon Stacy, I'll never forget him. I was in a season when I met this church in Greensboro. I was in a season where nothing was working right for me. And I was living in a roach-infested hovel is where I was living. That was my real home. And I was making no money. And the rent was cheap. The rent was the cheapest rent you can imagine. And I was struggling to pay that. It was terrible. So, but I started to get some wins. I started to get some more wins. And I was able to move out of the hovel into a nice place. And Deacon Stacy said to me, Brian, he used to come to the men's meeting, but this is one day at church. He goes, I see you climbing up out of your hole. He was doing this. You climbing up out your hole. And I see you, little by little, you climbing up out your hole. I can see it happening. Now, did I know as I was working to get myself better off, I was working to improve my situation, was I conscious of him looking at me and seeing what's going on? I never really said to him, hey, Deke, this is what I did today. This is what I did today. This is what I did. And I didn't tell him all of that, but for what he could pick up on, he saw me climbing up out of a hole and it inspired him. It inspired him. I bet all of you have that same power.
We do. We don't always use it. We don't always leverage it. But I think that is one of the things that we can gain from this historic individual.
I like where you were going with that, Lisa. When you said, when you think of King Day, this is an opportunity for us to think or do bigger. What a great time for this.
It's an opportunity for us to focus on something that may have been beyond our reach and fearfully so, to identify that thing that is beyond our reach and decide that we can actually accomplish it. We can actually achieve it.
Just even to think bigger and to try bigger. What a great day for that. I still want to talk some more about that concept, about what does it mean to take today to start to think bigger or try bigger.
I think it's particularly poignant that Deacon Ford is being laid to rest on today. because he did some really tremendous things for an African American in the city of Charlotte.
Well, today is his going home day, Deacon Ford. Now, Lisa and I, they're friends of ours, but I want you to tell the story as much as you're willing to. But what they did with business, they opened up tire shops and all that stuff, and they have a beautiful home. Tell the story as best you can about what he did, and they stayed married for 52 years.
Yeah.
But as a couple, what is your opinion of what they did?
As a couple with 3 daughters and a skill for something very, very simple, changing tires. That's what they started.
Think about that.
Changing tires.
His game began
changing
tires.
And they began to identify ways to build and expand that business in such a way that they opened a shop, changing tires, not just new tires, but used tires. Cheaper tires. You could come and you could get used tires. And then they built that shop up, and they decided, you know what, we could also do oil changes. And they added oil changes. And then they added another shop. And then they added another shop. And then they added another shop. And then they added another shop.
Is it 5?
It's 5.
They have 5 tire changing shops, in Charlotte.
In Charlotte. And they built, trained, and raised their daughters into entrepreneurship and built their home, their dream home. And they are practically African-American royalty.
In West Charlotte.
In West Charlotte. And it had to start with a dream. It had to start with a belief that we can take this very common thing, almost banal. You know, your 16-year-old can change a tire. Can your 16-year-old own and operate 5 a business that's potentially a franchise? Can you? The answer is yes. They did it. You can.
We love to go visit their home. Okay. First off, I think I visited their home maybe 4 times, maybe, or 3. At least 4. It has to be at least 4. But here's what I know as I'm driving over to their home. 1, I'm about to eat really good.
Tell what's important to Brother.
Because every time I go to their house, they feed me very well. That's all I need to know about their house. I'm going to eat very, very well. And they're very, very hospitable.
But the truth of the matter is, they're so inspirational. Mother Ford is a wonderful, caring and loving and stern.
You guys have kind of like a mutual mentor relationship. You know,
that's interesting. I dare not equate myself to mentor in her eyes. Well, but I appreciate the respect that she does garner for me,
and her willingness to hear you.
Always. I love her so much. And today I am going to be in attendance to share my love and my shoulder and my heart with the family as well.
I would love to stand with my wife today. I just could not figure out how to attend a 2 p.m. service and still serve my client at 3.
That's a 1 p.m. service.
Oh, my client's at 3.
Okay. You might be able to go.
Maybe I can.
That would be good. But so what do you need to dream bigger about? What is there that's just outside of your reach, just outside of your grasp, that you've been like, ooh, maybe, maybe not. Ooh, I should, but I can't. Because that thing, maybe you need to tap in to the power and the strength and the anointing of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., the anointing of this day that is set aside for greatness.
What do you remember about Dr. Martin Luther King? Do you remember his 1960, the March on Washington, where he gave the I Have a Dream speech? You know, and there's funny things about that speech, anecdotally about that speech. He had notes on that speech. He had a lot of notes, okay? And he was up there going through his notes, giving his talk. And then some lady near the front screamed at him, "Tell him about your dream." He goes, "I have a dream that one day, you know, people be judged by the content of their character instead of by the color of their skin. I have a dream today How cool is that?
It is. It's phenomenal. It is. Just the fact that in our lifetime, such a man lived.
Rosie Greer, who played linebacker for the New York Giants and the LA Rams, was one of Dr. King's bodyguards at that event. And he was on stage next to Dr. Martin Luther King, a football player, big guy. And when King finished that speech, he folded it up and handed it to Rosie and then turned to go off the stage. Why did he hand him the speech? You want him to hold it for him for a little while, I guess. But Rosie had that speech, because Dr. King handed it to him.
Absolutely. I would imagine that would be a treasure.
It is a treasure, yes. Mm-hmm. And even his I've been to the mountaintop speech.
Yeah.
He died like 3 days later. I've been to the mountaintop, and I may not get there with you, but I know we as a people will get to the promised land. He had a premonition that he won't be able to go in.
Like Moses.
Like Moses, yes. Mm-hmm. He couldn't go into the promised land, but he got him there.
Well, I think that kind of harkens back to the conversation that we had at one of the Empowerment Circle Interfaith Fellowships where Sporty King was there. We all decided that it wasn't a race. It wasn't even a marathon. It was a
relay race. Yes, it wasn't a sprint.
It wasn't a sprint.
Right. It's not a sprint. Going forward, our people advancement. It's not a race. It's not a sprint. It's not even a marathon. It's a relay race. This first person runs this leg, and they pass the baton to someone who can run the next leg.
And we keep going and we keep going. And each one advancing further and further than the one before is an opportunity for us to capitalize on the progress that we get to make within our season and then hand it off to someone that can take and further advance the mission to the next leg.
Yes. I love that whole, just even thinking about, this is a relay race. Our parents got us to this place, or our communities got us to this place right now. And we have to carry our baton during our season. And then we need to pass that baton on to someone else. How sad is it for someone to achieve levels of success in any level of success, but have no one to pass the baton to?
Right, exactly. Ms. Vivian said he was an awfully selfless man who loved his people fiercely, enough to sacrifice his life for our freedom.
Yeah, incredible. And he died at 39.
Right.
Come on, man. He came into prominence he died in 68. Okay. And he came into prominence in 1955 with the Montgomery, Alabama bus boycott. Rosa Parks, her feet was tired.
Yeah.
She didn't feel like giving up her seat because the law was a black person can sit anywhere on the bus he wants to, but if a white man needed a seat, she had to get up and go to the back of the bus. Black people were resigned back to the back of the bus. You had to go to the back of the bus, and whether you had to stand or not, because the white people that got on had a chance to sit near the front of the bus. That was the law. And it's crazy law. But anyway, one day she decided not to get up. Now she wasn't the first one to decide that, okay, or the last, okay. But she happened to be a secretary for the NAACP, and her story became big, and they needed someone to speak as a voice for them.
She was the best candidate for that
role because she was beyond reproach. She wasn't a bad woman, and Dr. King had been an amazing preacher at the Ebenezer Baptist Church. So because he's such a great preacher, he'll probably be a good one to speak around our cause.
Yeah, and
but he did, boy, did he do something with that job?
Absolutely.
Adopting the concepts of Gandhi, of nonviolence, he really, really embraced that concept of Gandhi, of nonviolence, nonviolent insurrection. And
I think that there's a time and a place for both.
You think there's a place for nonviolent and violent?
Absolutely.
I don't really want to bring it up, but it's hard not to. 2 Wednesdays ago, where there was a violent insurrection on the Capitol of the United States. Just the images of that group, that MAGA group, beating that police officer with the American flagpole, and I'm killing that one police officer with a fire extinguisher, beating on him even after he's unconscious. That's a violent insurrection. And what they want to do, you know, they want to take back their country because they were whipped into it. But that's not how this game works.
Mhm.
You get mad, you take over and now you get to keep your guy. That wouldn't work like that.
No, that's not the way that it works.
Good morning, Valerie. Good morning, Nick Lewis. Good morning, Sammy. Good morning to you guys. Good morning, Miss Vivian.
So today, what can you do more powerfully? What can you do more ferociously? What can you do
bigger?
You
know, I brought it up on this show a lot of times about how inspiring it is for me to watch the nature show on, I think it's on Netflix, called The Hunt. The Hunt is what it is. And it talks about how predators work and all of that. And one of the things I always go hearken to is lions. Lions are amazing hunters. They can hunt anything, but they don't bother hunting little stuff very much. They can't waste their time and energy chasing after little things, rabbits and small animals. They got to hunt something big. Why? Because when you hunt something big, even though it's more work, you get to feed the whole tribe for a week, you know, or for a while. So they got to go after a Cape buffalo, you know, they got to go after giraffe. They got to go after something big, you know.
Giraffe brings a whole different thought to neck bones.
They're big without the neck, but with the neck, golly, yeah, you got some neck bones for days.
That's so horrible.
And they use teamwork. And sometimes they win and sometimes they lose, but they win enough times that we still have more lions.
Today would have been a great day to have John Barnett on as well.
He's John Barnett. You know, we've been able to speak him up on this show before, too.
I know.
You know, we call his name and he pop up.
Yeah, that is true. That would be interesting if we could make him pop up.
I'm going to text him.
All right, do that. See if we can get him in and give him his Black History moment or his MLK Day moment. He may be out of town fighting a cause somewhere. But I'm telling you, I just want to encourage you today to use your voice. I'm not telling you to go out and do a Martin Luther King thing. I'm not telling you to do a Malcolm X thing. I'm telling you to do a Brittany thing, do a Vivian thing, do a Beverly thing, do a you thing, right? Do a you thing. Do a you thing, Phyllis. No one else can do what you were sent here to do. And that's what we're encouraging you to do. Good morning, Beverly. Huh?
Can you send him a link?
Yeah, is he here? I mean, you got him?
Not yet.
Oh, okay. So yeah, how can we make you become more fearless or more able to do what you were supposed to do?
You know, one way you can become more fearless is to be honest in your study of what your people have done. When you're honest in your study, like you realize, wow, that's amazing. Someone that looks like me overcame this, that, and that.
Yes, you got to talk while I'm typing.
Okay, I will talk while you're typing. Okay. You know, when you start thinking about it, wow, I am from a race of people that were able to survive Middle Passage and survive 300 years of slavery and survive 100 years of Jim Crow laws. And for us to be able to sit here and do this live podcast. Wow. Mm-hmm. Good morning, Beverly. I'm happy that you're here today. Hello, tribe. I'm happy that you're here. Valerie and Vivian, I'm happy that you're here on King Day with us.
Absolutely. Read Vivian's comments.
Where is it? Okay, here it is. They were all extremely brave among the whole list of Black people that some of us are unaware of. Yes, there's a whole bunch of them.
Absolutely. Good morning, Joan. Thank you for joining us this morning. I appreciate you.
Is that Joan Dunham?
Yes.
Good morning, Mama Dunham. How you doing?
Dunham.
Oh my gosh.
I love him.
Oh, I don't understand how you like him, but a lot of people apparently do because he's a gabillionaire.
I don't know if he's a gabillionaire. He's pretty well off as a comedian and ventriloquist.
Yeah, I bet he's at least a billionaire.
Yeah.
Because he's that popular.
I guess. But I really like them.
Beverly, what does Dr. King Day mean to you? King Day, I love it actually. I love it so much because we do need at least one day to think about the accomplishments of Black people.
Well, we're going to actually spend a whole month doing that. And we have 3 events set up for
February. Oh my gosh.
The month of February.
When you was describing that on Saturday, first off, we need to spend some moments here on this show talking about Global Domination 2021. That was an event we did this past Saturday from 4 to 7. We had 7 amazing thought leaders. But at the end of it, Lisa was talking about the 3 events we have coming up in February like that. So do you want to tell about the events, and then we're going to go back on Global Domination?
Absolutely. So in February, the first week of February, on February the 6th, will be our Black History Showcase. We will be showcasing African-American authors who are celebrating African-American culture, whether it's spiritually, entrepreneurially, musically, or otherwise. These authors have done works that refer to African-American history in such a way that they are capturing it for all prosperity, for posterity. Thank you. Thank you. My tongue couldn't do it. For all posterity. So that. Oh.
See, they wouldn't have even known I said anything if you didn't react.
I know. I can't help it. And it's going to be phenomenal. That's on the 6th at 4 p.m. And then on the 13th, we would be remiss if we didn't use the opportunity to leverage African-American spoken word artists and poets to bring forth the Love and Romance edition. That'll be at 7 p.m. on the 13th. And then on the 20th, the 20th is the Children's Book Edition.
That's 3 weekends in a row.
Absolutely. The Children's Book Edition is giving the authors who have taken their time to represent African-American families, African-American children, African-American characters in a particular light, so that when your children are reading these children's books, they actually see characters that look like them. And we have a special bonus because included in this lineup are not just authors who write children's books with Black and Brown children in them, but we actually have a couple of children authors that will be sharing in their books as well. And I'm
going to work real hard to get Lisa to do all of her children's books at the showcase.
Yeah, and that's not going to happen.
Yes, all 3.
I'm not going to be featured in the showcase.
Yes, you are.
No, no.
I'm going to have another MC besides
no,
you,
you're not.
so that you could be featured.
I love how you try to act as if that this is a joint effort, but it's really not.
Right, I'm in charge. I understand that. Okay. I'm looking at you over there on that table.
Yes, I've written 3 children's books.
I understand. Well, 2 are published.
Mm-hmm.
1 needs to be published.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, my wife is amazing, and this is her baby, no doubt. Well, I'm a man in my own house. Okay, so it's my house. I'm the husband.
Yes,
I'm the dad.
That you are.
All of that.
That you are. My arm is so sore. It's so sore.
I know why, and I almost want to spank you.
Oh. And I mean, even the brushing of your sweater up against it hurts.
I'm throwing that other thing away.
Don't throw it away. I told you I just need to use an external keyboard.
I was downstairs last night watching the show, and I have a smaller tablet that doesn't get used at all, okay? And Lisa says, while I'm down here, can I use your small tablet? Now, it's smaller than what Lisa's accustomed to working with.
I can't use this one either. I have to use this. Okay.
Right, okay. So smaller, Lisa likes to use a full keypad that she just plugs in. Okay, so it spaces it out fine, she can work, okay? Because she's constantly writing, constantly using her fingers typing, constantly. So you get, especially at our age, sometimes you have carpal tunnel issues or forearm pain or shoulder pain, okay?
Okay.
Yeah. And so we sent out a call for my friend John Barnett to come on. He's a civil rights activist, and we love him very much. But anyway, so Lisa's working on it, and a couple of minutes in, she's like, oh man, this already hurts my forearms. I said, so stop using that. What's up, Trent? How you doing, sir? Happy King Day to you, bro. Happy King Day. So she's already hurting. I said, so stop using that machine. Stop using that tablet. Well, so she's already hurting, and she keeps working. And then she goes, ow, this hurts. Lisa, it's hurting my wife. So I should have just took it from her right then, but I didn't. Okay.
Read Beverly's comment.
Beverly says, Dr. King to me means I can have a day of proof that it works and I matter. Then I can have a 364 days that I can say today is a Dr. Beverly day. That's right, Dr. Beverly.
Absolutely. It sure is. It is a Dr. Beverly day.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm telling you, I'm not sure if he's on his messenger, so I'm gonna send it to his phone as well.
Okay, cool. So he responded to my messenger on Facebook.
I know, to your messenger.
Yes, he did. So anyway, we sent out. I'm looking for our friend John Barnett. It's impromptu. He didn't know we was going to call for him. Brother Ambrose, bro, that's two. That's two of my Raleigh folks coming on here this morning. Good morning, Brother Ambrose Bond. This is King Day, y'all. This is King Day. Lisa's had a wonderful thought that we can use King Day to start thinking bigger, to going for bigger things. Use this as a launch pad to, you know what, he accomplished a lot. So let us at least expand our thinking or expand our doing to bigger and use King Day as a launch pad for it. I like that concept a whole lot. But Ambrose, you probably were in attendance that time at Baptist Grove where I was doing the Black History Month, History of Black People program. Mm-hmm. And I'm reading all these accomplishments, and then I couldn't help but stop and think about that you all in attendance here today are making Black history right now.
Yes, you're making Black history right now with what you do in your everyday and your day-to-day. But maybe there's more in you that we're all waiting for, that you need to release from yourself.
There's no maybe. I know it to be true. There's some more greatness in you that needs to come out.
Some more other stuff.
Yep. Tell them about the more other stuff. Tell them about the more other stuff.
Absolutely.
Mo Other Stuff is one of my favorites. I got that from In Living Color, the Homeboy Shopping Network. We got some Mo Other Stuff.
Absolutely. But we want you to take the limits off. Take the limits off. If nothing else, today, as we think of Dr. Martin Luther King and as we think of his familiar and very, very powerful speech, I Have a Dream.
You owe it to yourself to watch it today.
What dream did you have? Yeah, we should have watched it today.
Well, the day's not over. I'm going to watch it. I'm going to post it on my Facebook page too.
Absolutely.
Like I have some tenets. I always post the I Have a Dream speech on my Facebook page on the day. I always post Frederick Douglass's speech about 4th of July on the 4th of July. So I'm definitely going to post I Have a Dream. Yeah.
That one is 6 minutes and 47 seconds.
That's one, the 17-minute one.
Yeah, I don't want the whole one.
I want the whole one. So.
No, I mean for the show. We can't watch the whole one.
You don't have to put it on now.
I would love to.
Copyright infringement. You're showing it on our podcast. You can't do that.
Yeah,
Just
but
tell them about it.
Can we do that?
No.
We can't do that. I think we can.
You think you can?
Yeah, I think we can. I think
we
just
need to snippet.
We need to edit the thing to say we have no rights and it's for educational purposes.
Okay.
Because I think that it's important. We have no rights to.
Dr. Martin Luther King is an amazing orator, and until 2015, the best speaker always ends up running things. That ended in 2015 when Donald Trump became the Republican Party nominee and then ultimately the Republican Party president. He was never the best speaker on any of the stuff, but he ended up being the president anyway. And I think that's a rebound, a backlash from having a smooth talker like President Barack Obama.
Wow. Interesting perspective there. Mm-hmm. Interesting perspective.
Because he's the only one I can think of. I even did presentations at Love Fellowship Believers about the history of America. And my summation in my research for history of America, the person who speaks the best and writes the best, the speakers and writers, and both of those are oral. Okay, the speakers and writers are always the ones that run the country. The speakers and writers are always the ones that run the business.
Beverly says, I get to stay brave, bold, free, and I get to serve. I get to help I get to help, be happy. I get to stand in unity and in strength, and I get to dream, desire, and move
without fear.
Amen, amen, amen. Let's do the 5-minute one.
All right, baby.
Let's do the 5-minute one. So I'm going to try to get this queued up.
Lisa wants to just play with her toys, is what it is.
Why am I playing with my toys?
That's what you want to do. It affects your toys.
Let's do it, y'all. Let me take that down. And let's go ahead and play.
So even though we face the difficulties of today and tomorrow, I still have a dream. It is a dream deeply rooted in the American dream. I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. I have a dream that one day on the red hills of Georgia, sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners will be able to sit down together at the table of brotherhood. I have a dream that one day, even the state of Mississippi, a state sweltering with the heat of injustice, sweltering with the heat of oppression, will be transformed into an oasis of freedom and justice. I have a dream that my 4 little children one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream today I have a dream that one day down in Alabama, with its vicious racists, with its governor having his lips dripping with the words of interposition and nullification.
Interposition and nullification.
In Alabama,
I love that.
little black boys and black girls will be able to join hands with little white boys and white girls as sisters and brothers. I have a dream today.
Interposition and nullification.
I have a dream that one day every valley shall be exalted. Every hill and mountain shall be made low, the rough places will be made plain, and the crooked places will be made straight, and the glory of the Lord shall be revealed, and all flesh shall see it together. This is our hope. This is a faith that I go back to the South with. With this faith, we will be able to hew out of the mountain of despair a stone of hope.
With this faith.
With this faith, we will be able to transform the jangling discords of our nation into a beautiful symphony of brotherhood. With this faith, we will be able to work together, to pray together, to struggle together, to go to jail together, to stand up for freedom together, knowing that we will be free one day. This will be the day. This will be the day when all of God's children will be able to sing with new meaning. My country tears of thee. Sweet land of liberty of thee I sing. Land where my fathers died, land of the pilgrim's pride. From every mountainside, let freedom ring. If America is to be a great nation, this must become true. So let freedom ring. From the prodigious hilltops of New Hampshire, let freedom ring. From the mighty mountains of New York, let freedom ring. From the heightening Alleghenies of Pennsylvania, let freedom ring. From the snow-capped Rockies of Colorado, let freedom ring. From the curvaceous slopes of California. But not only that, let freedom ring from Stone Mountain of Georgia. Let freedom ring from Lookout Mountain of Tennessee. Let freedom ring from every hill and molehill of Mississippi, from every mountainside. Let freedom ring, and when this happens, when we allow freedom ring, when we let it ring from every village and every hamlet, from every state and every city, we will be able to speed up that day when all of God's children, black men and white men, Jews and Gentiles, Protestants and Catholics, will be able to join hands and sing in the words of the old Negro spiritual. Free at last,
free at last.
Thank God Almighty, we are free at last.
How about that? How about that? I hope you heard and then got inspired by those words. We reached out to our friend today, and he actually was able to pop on spur of the moment. We appreciate him so much. Let's bring him to the screen, baby. His name is John Barnett.
Good morning. I got
this clean. He's John Barnett. John, I'm so grateful that you had the ability to pop on here today. How are you feeling, sir?
Doing good. How y'all doing? Good morning. Happy King Day.
Good morning. Good morning. We were spending some time today talking about the importance of and what this day can mean for you. What does King Day mean for you?
Wow. It means to be courageous. It means to, as Reverend Sharpton used to say, sometimes those who stand alone have to speak alone. But more importantly, it means that what Dr. King did in the 60s is even more important now as we see people bombarding the Capitol in Washington, D.C., as we see George Floyd losing his life after having a knee on his neck for a long, long time.
24 seconds, yes.
Yes, and so I think it means that we just need to stand up and challenge some of the social ills that we have, or mostly all of the social ills that we have, in order to make change and make this place a better place, as they sing that song.
Amen, amen. Lisa had an interesting concept that I really, really like, and I can't seem to let it go this morning, but she wanted to use King Day as a linchpin for us all to start thinking bigger or doing bigger. You know, and I really, really like that concept. You know, when you hear the concept of using this day as a day for us as a people to start thinking bigger or doing bigger, do you have any ideas about what could that look like, or what could that mean if we decide to think bigger or do bigger?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest challenges that we have in both the white and black community is that we got a lot of short-term goals, but we don't have a lot of long-term goals. And as I aspire to build the first civil rights office in Charlotte, North Carolina, I thought about Dr. King and Malcolm X immediately when you said that, because Malcolm X was working on something. He was working on his new organization to embrace Muslims of all faith, all races, all color. But Dr. King was working on an economic development plan to help Afro-American people of color in this country to stabilize the money that we spend so much on weave and hair and makeup and barbershops and rims on Lamborghinis and the whole nine. So if you think about both of those men in particular, even Medgar Evers, who lost his life encouraging blacks to vote, they had another plan. They had goals, and the goals were not short-term, they were long-term goals to help people and our people even after they are dead and gone.
I love that you brought that up, man. Thank you. That long-term goal thinking. You're right. We're not taught to think long-term goals.
No,
That's
absolutely.
correct.
Absolutely, we're not. But I think that they go hand in hand, Brother John, which is what we were talking about earlier as well, that if we think of this as a relay race, if we identify what can connect to what and each player play their part, I believe that we can then build that society that encompasses all of what we need as a community as a whole.
That's correct. And everybody also, when in saying that, very important that you said that, everybody needs to know their part. There's a place for Black Lives Matter to do certain things. There's a place for the NAACP to do certain things. There's a place for our organization to do certain things. And I think what was key about Dr. King, as we honor him on the day, is that Jesse Jackson knew he knew what he needed to do, which was bring Dr. King to the podium in Tennessee. Andrew Young knew what he needed to do, and Brother Abernathy knew what he needed to do. They knew their roles, and they played them well. And so it is today with organizations. There may be a riot in Charlotte, and you got so much stuff going on. And I remember the saddest thing that I heard last year was Ron Holland from a local radio station here in Charlotte. I think
I know Ron. We know Ron.
Ron called me and said, "John, there's 9 events going on. And he asked me in a very sincere voice, he said, where do I go? And I said, wow, when Dr. King was live, everybody knew to go to one place. We're gonna be in Washington. We're gonna be in Washington, D.C., and you know what's going down. The March on Washington. And so when he called me that, it troubled my spirit, Lisa, to know that this man was trying to do something as people are doing today for Dr. King. I hope they don't do it just for today, but do it in the future. At 12 o'clock today, I'll be meeting a lady whose son is in prison. And I'm not the lawyer, but I know my role. My goal is to put that lawyer in place to get him out of prison. So I'm a pass the torch. I'm gonna play my role and give it to my attorney, Darren Haley. So in saying that, you know, just know for him to say that, it was just very disturbing. Because I'm like, he don't know where to go. Is it Black Lives Matter? Is it the LGBT community? I mean, where do you go? And so I think that one voice is very important. I don't care who the voice is, whether it's Dr. King, Jesse Jackson, or Minister Farrakhan. We need one voice. And because we don't have that one voice, there's confusion, there's chaos, and there's no structure for us to progress. That's correct.
Division. And that division causes confusion, and that confusion makes people, just like you just gave the example, it makes people stand down, like, never mind, just never mind. If I can't find out, it's like Burden's ass. When you have too many choices, you'll starve to death. You'll stand there and you'll starve.
Lisa and I watched a movie this weekend called One Night in Miami.
Yes.
It was, did you see it yet?
I watched it 3 times. I'm a big Malcolm X. I've been promoted on my page for the last 2 weeks. So people are like, what are you talking about? One night? Are we going to Miami? No, it's One Night in Miami. The movie.
So interesting about where these 4 friends were in their lives that night.
Yeah. You know? Now keep in mind, Regina King made this movie, and I'm gonna give you some kind of behind the scenes. No, the only person that's alive today is Jim Brown. And some of the scenes that we've seen were fictional, but I like the way she put them together. So I would love to know what was real and what wasn't real. You know, the Malcolm X
perspective, because I know I read 3 biographies on Jim Brown. I've read everything written about Muhammad Ali. Okay, I'm reading more and more about Sam Cooke. Okay, and I know these guys' stories. So she took some creative license with the dates and all of that. Okay, particularly with the dates. Okay?
Yeah. And I think it was great that she put it together, because I'm gonna tell you what was great about that movie, Lisa and Brian. There was dialogue amongst 4 Black men on a movie screen.
Yes, Lord.
So what happens is, we haven't seen that since probably the Best Man movie, right? And I'm gonna go somewhere with this. We've been seeing a man in a dress named Tyler Perry, right? We've been seeing comedy, right? And maybe Denzel every now and then will pop in and make a movie. But the images of conversation of Black men who haven't shot each other in the movie, y'all, like the Terminator, right? You know, I think it was that was the most impactful thing to me, is that the images of Black men, and they had on suits. Like this morning, y'all called me this morning. And I was like, I got to put on a jacket. Like I'm just saying, it's an automatic reaction if people are watching you, because it projects a certain
it also gave perspective, because each of them had different opinions of what was going on. But by the end of the movie, they had heard each other out to the point where they could at least respect one another's perspective.
That's right. That's exactly right. Because what you look at. When you look at Jim Brown, you look at somebody just wanting to change his career, in a sense, right? When you look at Malcolm X, a fiery speaker that wants to get the Black community together and stop all the killing. That might be me in 2021.
Malcolm was in pain in that movie, you know. And that he had been silenced for a year. You know, chicken coming on the roof. We got to get out of here on this show, but John, can you hang out for just a couple of minutes?
Please,
okay, sure will.
Because I definitely have got to have you back, and we have to have you for Black History Month as well. So I certainly hope we can make that happen.
Just hang out, John.
Okay, sure will.
Listen, guys, we have the greatest opportunity in the world. In our lifetime, we can elicit change.
Right now.
You can use your voice. You can use your pen. You can use your skills, gifts, and talents, but I'm just telling you to get out and do something. Like Brother Barnett says, you might not be able to be the next Malcolm, the next Dr. King, the next whomever.
You can play your part.
You can play your part.
Well, we got to go now. But anyway, we love you. We'll be back tomorrow.